Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Jim George is here. If you have any questions for Jim, this is a good time to call. Get your question in early because sometimes these things take a little bit more than a yes or a no. So if you have a question for Jim, the number is 622-9622. What is the area of expertise for this man I'm referring to? Well, it started out with technology, and it turned out that he's pretty smart about travel. He's pretty smart about so many different things. So we'll try to limit it, I guess, to technology. Maybe it's computers. Maybe it's cable. Maybe it's this new 5G thing. I have a question about that myself. So anyway, the questions are whatever they are. 622-9622. We call him the professor of the universe, Jim George. Hey, Jim.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Tired. Been busy.
Have you ever written a book? You should write a book.
I did. I wrote a book, and I'm writing a book.
And? Is it something that's over my head?
No, the one I'm writing just not done yet. I really should close it down and call it chapter 1, or what I mean by that is part 1. Well, it's just getting, I've been doing it for several years, and I just haven't finished it, and I don't have time. And my wife was saying, why don't you just call this part 1, and then when you have more time, you could do part 2. I said, I guess I could do that, but I'd really like to finish it.
Did you start it in an era when you were using a typewriter and now you're using a computer?
No, I started when I was using a computer, but I may work on it 10 minutes a month if I'm lucky. I mean, I'm just too busy, way too busy. Right. But I'm going to get it. I'm trying to do a lot of things at the same time. That's all.
It's not a novel, is it?
No. Well, it's it's called The Deliberate Delays of Jesus. In other words, when we see things going on in the Bible where he delayed on purpose, a lot of times you don't think of him as delaying, but that's what it's about. Why he delayed and where he delayed, and why delay is not no. Delay is just wait.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, it's very good. I read it all the time. I read the whole thing so I can start adding to it.
Sure.
And then I spent so much time reading it.
Well, I've often thought that, there was a part in the Bible, and you're more educated on the Bible than me, and it says that to God 1,000 years is a day.
Well, that's because it's endless for him. It's eternity.
Yeah.
He doesn't think of our little puny day.
But I mean, when they put it into those words, a day is 1,000 years, then maybe Jesus rising again on the third day means in the third 1,000 years.
Oh, he already rose on the third day.
No, I know, literally. But maybe it also means the third, because we're into the third 1,000 years right now, right?
I see what you're saying. We're actually... From the time he died, we're in the second 1,000. You're saying, but
we're into the third 1,000 now. We're at the beginning of the third 1,000.
All right, I see what you're getting at.
Yeah,
no, that's not good.
You don't think that's it?
No, I don't. All right, so it's a beautiful day in downtown Ocala. So what's happening this weekend?
Well, Tuesday is the day. No, not Tuesday. When is the 4th? Thursday. Thursday is the day. That's when we have all the fireworks. That's when we have God and Country Day.
Yep.
That's when there's a thing up in Gainesville that Robin keeps talking about, and over on top of the world there's another fireworks display.
Beautiful.
Do the fireworks ever interfere with TV signals, that kind of thing?
No. It only interferes with TV in the sense you want to go outside and watch it instead of watching TV. So there's a lot going on with 5G, as you alluded to.
I had a question.
So
about
the
that.
government, the FCC, is thinking that they want to add another 100 megahertz to the 5G spectrum. So the FCC is calling for, people to write in. Keep in mind, you can write about anything to the FCC. If you go to fcc.gov, they probably have 50 things right now that they're discussing, and you can comment on any of those.
Really?
Any of those you can put a comment to. And they want your comment. They're always saying we need more comments. And some of them don't affect you, so you don't really want to write in. Others may affect you. And so it's getting pretty close now to 5G being standardized, for lack of a better term. It's not standardized yet. A lot of cities and such are going with the form of 5G they already have, because 5G is more of a software than it is a hardware. So you have a box and you load the 5G software on it and it works. If the standard changes, they just change the software in the box, upgrade and such. Matter of fact, I have a meter that I bought brand new a year ago, and already I've gotten 2 upgrades on it already. So you can see that every time you turn around, something's new.
What does the FCC use the old VH? What was it called? VH?
Yes, very high frequency.
Yeah. What do
VH.
they? Because they got rid of that, right?
They
That
did.
used to be RTV.
Yeah, they've sold that.
And what's it used for now?
Well, now it's used for anything from cross-town communications, like with fire and police, to you can own that frequency. Well, matter of fact, there's a gentleman I met about 10 years ago in Gainesville, and he bought one of those frequencies. And what he does is he sends internet from his tower that he rents to every Starbucks in Gainesville.
Really?
So the Starbucks in Gainesville doesn't have to worry about having a hard wire come into them. He sends them internet, and then, of course, they turn it to Wi-Fi. And when you go into Starbucks, you have the connectivity.
Oh, that was the question.
And he has a very good, income. off
You
of
just
that.
reminded me of the question. There was a question on the internet regarding 5G. This is not from me. It was somebody else on
Right.
like Quora, Quora, where people ask questions.
Yep, the query. Yep,
Will 5G,
5G.
will that help cable and internet merge so that there's no longer 2 separate things?
5G will be able to carry cable in the sense that you can get it on your cell phone, your laptop, anything that receives 5G. And it will not be slow. It will be fairly fast. You won't have pixelation and such. It's not made to replace cable. What's made to replace cable is coming right around the corner. As a matter of fact, I talked to the gentleman yesterday, and by November they will have a test ready. And by first of the year, they will be delivering me a box that I can send internet, phone, and cable TV to your home wireless. And you will not need any kind of cable.
Wow, that's a big
It's
improvement.
a very big improvement. A very expensive box, but it goes, has a 10-mile diameter, so 5-mile radius. So any home within 5 miles of my tower, I'll be able to receive it.
Okay, and there will be lots
big
of
deal.
towers all over the country. More towers will be going up?
Well, it's made not necessarily for saturation. It's made for a person like myself that wants to be in that business, that buys that box and covers my area. And then if I want to buy another box and put it somewhere else, it covers that area. Eventually, maybe, 5 years down the road, Cox, Comcast, everybody will have that box. The box was first made for first responders, for military, even for cell phone repeaters, so that they could go on towers and be used as a repeater. But in doing so, he put the software in that works with cable TV and internet and phone. So I'll be able to deliver phone, internet, and cable TV to your home wireless.
Robin and I did a low-tech thing the other day.
Oh,
The low-tech thing was riding bicycles.
that's
Very low tech.
That's great.
So then we were thinking about we should do this like we used to do it all the time.
Yes, you used to do all the time.
Okay, so we haven't done it. So now we said, well, we need lights because when it's the autumn, it gets dark pretty soon.
Yep.
Okay, so we went online to look for some lights. And do you know that some of the bicycle lights now are connected to your smartphone?
No.
Yeah. It's so cool. So you have your headlight and your 2 tail lights. You turn on the headlight with your phone, and all 3 lights go on. And then it'll tell you if your battery's getting low. So you need to change your battery.
The battery on your cell phone or the battery
On the light.
on the lights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I didn't understand. I thought we had generators, but it didn't.
Oh, you didn't have the little wheel against the wheel.
Right. And yeah, I couldn't find one of them.
Yeah.
But the other thing was there was a story this morning about the insulin device that people use, or also somebody could hack into them, and you wouldn't want that. All of a sudden you're getting more insulin than you need.
All right.
Isn't that crazy? Why is everything hooked up to the smartphone? Why don't we keep some things away from that stuff?
Even pacemakers, it used to be when you walk into a convenience store, it'd say if you have a pacemaker,
Yeah.
you have a microwave, because they were afraid that frequency would create some problems. But it's been proven that hackers can get into your pacemaker and turn it off.
Really?
Just turn it off. And then blackmail you. You got to send $500 before I turn it back on.
Well, you heard this story about the city of Lake City, $460,000 they had to pay to unfreeze their files.
Yeah, I just got an email this morning from an anonymous guy, and starts off, "Dear Mr. George," and then he ends with "respectfully," and he's blackmailing me. He's saying he knows everything there is in my computer. He's got a cookie and this and that in there, and if I don't send him, I think it was $50,000. By the end of the day, he's going to turn my computer off. And I emailed him back and said, "Go ahead, turn it off." If you do me a favor, I'll just get another one and get a different IP address, and go.
So that was today?
That was today. This morning when I came into the
So we'll
office
see.
at 5 o'clock.
Well, you know the one I got. Did I ever share this with you? I got one that said, "Here's your password," and it was right. Well, it was almost right. It wasn't quite right. And then it said that it had video of me that they took through my phone looking at porno and doing nasty things to myself.
And is it shareable so we can all?
Yeah. I said, well, at least I have a life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not much, but it's something.
Yeah.
And he wanted money. Otherwise, he was going to share it with everybody.
Yeah.
And I said to Robin, "Did we have this technology back then? I don't remember. I don't think I even had a phone."
Yeah.
No, I felt the same way. You want a black? That's fine. Turn it off. Just turn myself.
But the scary thing is, I mean, what if I was 17 and I got that? I might be panicking.
Exactly.
Because when I was 17, Jim,
Oh, well, here we go.
You and the ladies.
No, there were no ladies. Well, there were some. Come to think of it.
No, so that's what they do. They can get in and hack you. Yes, Robin.
So when you go to someone's home to put in your system and then you check out all of their connections and everything like that, is that one of the main questions the owner of the system asks you as to how safe this is?
Yeah, so I always try to tell them that anything wireless is unsafe. Anything. I don't care what kind of software you have. I have an IT guy. He lives in Chile, and we're representing him to move from Chile to come to the USA.
Oh, my.
And, he's a great software guy. He's got the equivalent of a PhD in computer science. And there's really nothing you can do when you get your computer is slow sometimes, but when you try to test everything coming into your computer, it's even slower because it's got to query it. Did it come from a safe IP address? All the different things that has to ask. That's why people quit using Norton and a few others, because it did its job. It was just too slow. So I was asking him this morning in an email configuration back to Chile. He said, just ignore it. If they turn it off, we'll just turn it back on. By changing the password. And that's it. Done.
And I have a splitter in my kitchen because that's where my Wi-Fi box and everything is. And then I have my landline phone. So I've got a splitter there where each one is plugged into, the two of them. Does that cause the internet to go slow?
No, the splitter is splitting coax. And coax is your RF delivery. Once the RF gets to whatever it is, your modem or whatever, then your modem takes over from that point as far as your speed. You probably just do a speed test every so often. I think you wrote it down last time, speedtest.net. And just
Yeah,
see what it
you
says.
did that,
But
yeah.
almost every site has a speed test. Actually, you could go to Google and do a speed test. You could go to Yahoo and do a speed test. But that speed test is more or less how long it takes you to get to them. How long it takes you to get to Google. And the worldwide speed test, when you go to toast.performance and things like different ones,
What a name.
then that's sending. They have like a spaceship. Let's say it's a picture of the space shuttle, and how long it took the space shuttle picture the form, how many pixels were missing, or how many bits of information we're missing. And they do that. And it takes maybe half a minute to do all that. And then it will tell you what your speed is, how clean your delivery was, and everything. And that's at toast.net/performance.
So how does since the moon landing is being cranked up again for the next couple of years into the future, how does NASA protect themselves from hackers?
Well, they don't put things on the World Wide Web. In other words, even universities,
Smart.
they have a connection to the internet, but that connection to the internet is, you might say, separate or separable from the all the computers they have and everything else. If they want to do something with the World Wide Web, they go to a different hard drive. Then you can have multiple hard drives in your computer. You can segment your hard drive. So this part of the hard drive does this part of the hard drive does that. But they keep them separated. So all their internal computing and everything is not on the internet. But I think I just read an article just the other day where that the hacker got into some military site because a visitor, that's why they always tell you leave your cell phone at the door and leave your computer. So a visitor got online and didn't realize that he went to a site which opened, and so the hackers came right in. So they closed down this facility within minutes, and because they were looking for a back door to get in.
Oh, wow.
So you have to be present, you might say. But they cleaned everything up.
Oh my gosh.
And you have a telephone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
Good morning, Jim, Larry, Robin. I have a pacemaker, and everything is done by either, via Wi-Fi or whatever. In other words, I have a gimmick on my night table. I have to be within 3 feet of that at a certain time in the middle of the night, which I usually am. And it'll monitor and check the pacemaker and see if there was any events and download it to wherever it goes. I think it goes to my doctor's office. It's the way it's set up.
Yes.
And the other thing is when I go to the doctor every now and then, the cardiologist for this, they can adjust the pacemaker and whatever they want to do to it by placing it looks like a coil around it on my, where the pacemaker is on my chest.
Yes.
And they can make adjustments to the whatever they do to it right then and there. And then they can check the battery because everything is run by a battery, including the pacemaker, and et cetera. And it's absolutely amazing that how this stuff is being done and how medicine is being connected via the internet to everything.
Yes.
In other words, doctors can actually perform some minor procedures via the internet. They don't have to be physically present at the place for certain operations or something. And it's totally mind-boggling how these things are coming about.
Yes.
But I know personally that my pacemaker is monitored at night by the thing on my bed night table, and I go there and they want to really do something. They put this coil over me. I don't even have to take my shirt off, just as long as I don't have anything metal in my pocket. And they can do whatever they do or whatever adjustments that are on the in the pacemaker through the coil and through my skin.
Yes.
But anyway, it's a crazy world we live in. I was looking for a car, and I was trying to follow Matt's advice and everything else about that. And I figured I'd look into the insurance. And everything my old car has in there, on a new car, the insurance would be $300 and something more a year, just because it's a newer car.
Yes.
Because to replace some of these things, like a sensor in a bumper, in certain cars, they don't replace the sensor; they replace the entire bumper.
Yes.
So anyway, I was just wondering what you guys think about that. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Have a happy 4th of July.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know.
Good call.
Yes. Yeah, so the hackers, what he would see, that box that's on the side of the bed is hooked up to the internet or hooked up to the phone. Chances are it's hooked up to the internet. And so a hacker will get into that box, and then if he wants to play havoc, he could increase the heartbeat, he could decrease the heartbeat, because it's not only monitoring, but it's able to, send that type of information to the doctor's office and have them respond. There's actually a set-top converter box that the cable companies are looking at, which will do that. So you have a set-top converter box in your bedroom to watch your TV, and it talks to that, and the doctors monitor it 24/7. It's all built into the set-top converter.
How come when
box.
you pay something, the money comes out of your account right away, but when you go get a refund, it takes like 10 days?
Yeah, because there's intermediaries. So when you go even to the just any place, like you said, and you pay for it, it comes out automatically. So it comes out of your account so that you can't overcharge your account. In other words, you paid $100 for this item, $100 comes out. But when they want to put it back in, they have to go to First Data or several other large organizations that handle that transaction to verify that, yes, the money came out of your account, yes, the money went into theirs, and when I say theirs, their bank, all right? And then, so their bank has to go ahead and contact the intermediary to get it put back into your bank so that all the ABA numbers and routing numbers and everything are correct. There have been times when you should have gotten the deposit back and you didn't. It went in somebody else's account.
Oh gosh.
One little number different.
I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah, so the other day I was contacting a company. It's been 2 weeks since I've have gotten my return. They said, "Well, we did that, the next day," and they called me back about a week later after that and said, "Okay, we put it back in your account. Yeah, it got sent to somebody else's account."
Oh,
gee.
It's just the nature of the beast. Everybody's human. You think it's all done by computers in the sense that it's done automatically, but someone had to hit enter, someone had to put that information in, someone had to put their code in. And even with DirecTV, I think I mentioned this to you, that I've been trying for almost a year to have DirecTV take the money out automatically. I've done it 3 times so far with all the paperwork, all the affidavits, all the blank check written that says void on it, everything.
Right.
And they say, "Thank you very much. It will start next month." Next month, the money comes out, and 3 or 4 days later, the money goes back in my account.
Oh my gosh.
And then I call them, and they say, "Well, your bank withdrew it." And I said, "My bank can't withdraw it." So I go to my bank, and I talk to them. I say, "No, once it leaves our hands, it leaves, all we are is a depository. And when you ask for it to be sent, we send it to you.
Right.
Something on your end keeps sending it back."
Oh, no.
So then I'm stuck having to pay 2 and 3 months and late fees and everything because, So I'm thinking it's perfect because last month it came out automatically. But just yesterday I got an invoice, and on the little statement that normally says "do not pay automatic bill," and it didn't say that.
Oh.
So I'm thinking I'm going to receive another notice next month saying you are 2 months behind.
Oh, my
And I'm going to say
God.
this is the 4th time that I've done this. AT&T and DirecTV are screwed up. All right.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Jim.
Hi, this is Sonny again. I'm glad to hear it. Well, not glad for you, but I'm glad for myself that somebody else is having problems with this kind of nonsense with funds, electronic transfers and all this. It can get vicious. Have fun. Have a great week. Bye.
Yeah, it is. It gets tough.
Is the language of technology universal, or does your gentleman from Chile, once he comes here, there'll be some things he can't
No,
use?
it's universal. So there's different operating systems. There's Linux operating system. There's Microsoft operating systems. There's several other. One I think it's called. I want to say Benito. Anyway, there's multiple operating systems. So you write software for that operating system to operate on it. In the cell phone world, there's Android, there's Apple operating system, different operating systems.
Oh, okay.
So you have to be familiar with writing in general. That is, this tells it to turn on, this tells it to turn off, and then you have to have the codes. And you buy those kits when you are a programmer. the Android and the rest of them will sell you a kit. It's not expensive, but it's all their how-to. In other words, if you want to store it, put it here. You type in this. If you want to do this, and one time only, you type in that. So after they get through writing all this stuff and they want to test it, they send it. Then they test it, and then they can withdraw it again and work on it some more. So all my middleware that makes all my stuff work right now works on Android. I think it's 8.1 or something like that. Now they're up to Android 8.3. So you have to update and rewrite codes, but it's a small thing once the thing is written. But it's universal language in that sense.
Oh, okay.
Operating codes.
I never knew that.
I'm glad there are people like you who know how to map and get through. Yeah, I'm like Sonny. I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one having that issue.
Yes.
Thank you for what you did, Jim. Have a good weekend.
Yep.
And any plans for the 4th of July next Thursday?
No, I have to ask my wife what she'd like to do. Last year some of my family went over to the ocean. They went down to Tampa and such, to Clearwater, and you could over the ocean they shoot off fireworks.
That sounds nice.
Such.
Yeah.
But is Tuscaloosa having it this year again?
No, not Tuscaloosa, but it's going to be at Golden Ocala. Yeah.
Yeah, they moved it.
Yeah. Golden Ocala.
I guess they scared the fish and turtles.
And there's going to be at On Top of the World at the same time.
Yeah, that was
and
good
then
last year.
Wednesday, July 3rd, Gainesville will have it.
Dan and those guys are in the airplane. I bet they get a great sight.
Robin saw fireworks from when she landed in Orlando.
Yeah, from Disney World. I was trying to figure out where it was, and all of a sudden I saw all of these massive fireworks going off. Outstanding.
You knew exactly where you were.
Yeah, outstanding.
Well, everyone have a great and safe holiday.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye now.
All right, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. Florida's texting while driving law will go into effect on Monday, July 1st. Florida Highway Patrol will conduct an education period from July 1st to December 31st and give drivers a warning. Starting January 1st, drivers texting while driving will face fines of $30 to $100. A corrections officer was seriously injured after 2 inmates stabbed him at the Mayo Correctional Institution Annex. The officer was taken to a hospital and released. New York City Mayor and presidential candidate Bill de Blasio shouted a Spanish slogan associated with Cuba's communist revolution yesterday, drawing criticism. An 18-year-old man has been arrested after he drugged and sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl and posted a naked video of her on Instagram. A plan to build a road extension in Lake County was unveiled last night. The toll road will connect State Road 429 with US 27 south of Claremont. And Busch Gardens will celebrate 4th of July with fireworks